Starring Drew Harrison and Will Abeles.
Oh, hey guys. Welcome back to My Funny Friends, part of the Project Nerd family of podcasts here on Project Nerd TV. I am one half of your co-hosting duo, Drew Harrison, coming to you live from Nashville. Joining me is the other half of our dynamic duo, Mr. Will Abeles. Will, how you doing, buddy?
The face animation. You're adding in more animation of the face, and it's a podcast.
I love it. I'm going to go ahead and start talking before I'm introduced. I love
it. Start the whole thing over. No, kidding. Hello, Drew. You are looking sprightly.
Thank you. This is what a week's worth of good shows does for you. And now I'm home.
Oh, and you were home.
And now I'm home. That's the best part.
But you were home in North Carolina is what I meant.
Yeah, I got to see some family, got to see my moms, got to see a lot of Wilmington comics. You know how I love my Wilmington comics.
Were you part of the competition?
I was not, but shout out to OG Steve Marcinowski bringing home the championship this year.
Yeah,
our girl Ellie got second place.
Didn't she get second last year?
Yeah, 2 years ago. So now she's got to win it next year.
She's got to win it next year. Yeah, two-time second. Two-time second place.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Drew. Hey. I'm having a wonderful morning.
Good. I hear a sense of sarcasm in it, but I'm gonna keep going. Like you're being for real. Like
when you start your day, when you wake up, you stretch in the morning. You stretch and you say, "Today is going to be the day that everything happens for me." And then you walk downstairs in a house that's not your own because you're dog sitting, and you clean up 4.5 tons of shit. It's tough to start. And then this cat still won't leave my house. So I have 2 cats now is what I
don't know why you're still fighting this. I told you last time we recorded, you have 2 cats now. It's a given. I think the sooner you accept this, the more happy you will be.
Well, they're wrestling.
See, as a cat dad, doesn't that just bring joy to your heart?
No, it's pissing me off.
That your cat is happy. Think of Davy.
Davy's like become like a full dad where he just like watches the other one just like shaking his head, and it's echoes of my own father.
So you're a cat grandfather now is what you're saying.
I'm broke is what I'm saying. Is now I'm feeding I'm feeding two mouths, cleaning up shit.
The cat's like 5 pounds. How much can it really eat?
It eats a lot. And she yells at me.
I'm just playing. I know those cats eat a lot.
She's got a Spanish name that I can't pronounce, so I have to just call her Stella. Everything's a mess right now. But you know what's not a mess? Who is put together? Things are happening for him. He's got a fantastic album that debuted at #1 on iTunes. The special is about to drop. We're going to go celebrate him later today, which is Monday, and so you're looking at the past, but also the future, something like that. Fantastic guest, man of so many talents. And he was one of our first original guests when I came onto the show.
Yeah.
And we have him back now to do what he and I do best. Talk gossip. Talk celebrity gossip. Evan Berke, everybody. Evan Berke.
Oh, gosh. My favorite funny friends, Drew Harrison,
up,
Will Abeles. Thanks for having me back.
Well, first of all, let me echo what Will said. Congrats, man. #1 on iTunes. That is no laughing matter.
Thank you. And I just got to say thank you to you guys because I've watched both of y'all put out albums, put out specials. And you guys kind of gave me a blueprint. So I just want to say
we are an inspiration.
That hard.
Thank you.
No, and really, it's sometimes you got to see somebody just really believe in themselves and double down on their vision, and that kind of opens up your mental pathways to say, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing for myself. So both of y'all really
I feel like that Charleston trip
Yeah.
last year really got us all refocused, got us some
Well,
goals to.
2 out of
I
3.
mean, should I say that a show at a bowling alley kept me in comedy?
That's
Because I
fantastic.
mean, that
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
that show in Goose Creek, Keith D,
Yeah.
man, that was, or was no,
Well,
were we Goose
Monk's
Creek, or was
Corner.
it Monk's
Monk's
Corner?
Corner.
There it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Well, I've never seen you have more fun on stage than that Winston-Salem show.
Oh, and that was, yeah.
Oh, that was silly.
That's
That was
where
fun
we
for a
got to
different
see
reason.
100% uncut at Evan Burke.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely, yeah. That tour really
Yeah.
kind of got my brain moving. Like, oh, let's get serious.
Me too.
Let's get some
It
stuff
got
happening.
me. I was a little bummed out about some things. It got me. You guys helped me get back on track. So I attribute that trip to
Shout out to the rec room in
Right.
Charleston, South Carolina, where
Just
we broke
recentering
it down over some PBR tall boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had the big pep talk of like, Drew, get it together.
Remember who the F you are, man.
It needed to be done, so it worked.
Yeah.
We were all talking to ourselves while yelling at you.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Sometimes giving a friend advice kind of triggers some things in you too. So that's good. I think we all came back for the better from that trip. And I just got back from another South Carolina run. Got to do Columbia, and I got to see the largest Buc-ee's I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you've had to venture down to
Which
the
one?
Florence, South Carolina Buc-ee's, but my God. I think they
Mecca?
had at least 30 employees on hand.
Just like hanging around,
like they had like so many checkout lines going. They had so many people cutting the brisket. They had people cooking the brisket. They had a deli counter. They had a sub shop.
They just had 30 floaters. Not only did they have everyone at their stations, they're like, listen, we need 30 people just floating around to help people.
Was just...
And Buc-ee's pays their employees pretty well. So you have you have 30 people just collecting a paycheck.
This is one of those places that I'm sure was churning out just money by the second.
Mm-hmm.
Every pump was full. People were waiting for the pumps, and they had close to 100 pumps. Like, I was just like, is there this many people in Florence, South Carolina at one given time? Like, what is going on?
The town
right now?
works there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to open up a rival, call it Gators or something. Just have like an alligator, and it's, come on,
dude. How much fun can you have every time the billboards "See you later, alligator"? Like,
there it is.
Jeez, what just happened?
Brilliant. I'm quitting comedy.
We're gonna wrap this up.
Convenience stores.
Yeah. I gotta call Hannah afterwards and be like, hey babe, so Evan, Drew, and I are going into the gas station business. It's called Gators.
We already have our merch. We have not one storefront.
Can I borrow money for rent?
And probably gonna need a couple more rents for the future. It takes a while to get this going, you know what I mean?
But don't worry, we're gonna pay our employees $35 an hour. It's gonna be 150 of them.
Just get Seth and Nick to work.
We're gonna have the best alligator sandwiches in the country.
Ooh,
None of us know how to do
nuggets.
that.
Yeah.
None of us know how to do that.
I can make
Someone's been
crocodile
thinking about
nuggets.
this. This is not off the cuff. This is something you put in some work.
Yeah.
Thought about. I do, like, anytime I go to the Seaverville Buc-ee's, I do like contemplate, because I see like what they pay their managers, and I'm like, would I make this drive to become the assistant manager at Buc-ee's in Seaverville?
I just want to become one of those comics that, like, open micers that's like so rich and no one knows how this person is like literally flying a private jet to the open mic. You know what I mean? But like they are so rich that they do comedy that way. And you're like, how did you get your money? They're like, I sold a company a long time ago and now I'm just a professional open micer.
Pull up on a bus, pull like a double-decker bus. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, this is what a tour would
they
do.
live in the bus, like they have a tour bus already, and they take the tour bus to each mic, and they're popping between like they're top
like what my joke book,
Twin Kegs and Third Coast.
My like joke book was in the bus already, you know.
My tour, the amount of money Taylor Swift's tour brings in, mine brings in the negative on that, but I'm on tour.
Yeah. manifesting. They're going up to Evansville, and they're like, yeah, no, I'm headlining, and it's an open mic, and they make $35.
Special guest.
Yeah, and it costs 65 to get there.
Yeah.
Not coming from personal experience recently.
That didn't have any kind of facts in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was so when I was like prepping for the special and the recording and everything, that was one of the shows I did. And it was like one of those rooms that when you do it as long as we've been doing it, you walk in, you go, oh, okay, this is what the room is. Like it's loud, no one cares. Okay, I didn't know. I'm happy to be here, whatever. But I was with Brandon, and Brandon still knew enough that like these rooms do shake you a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But that was one of the days that like he didn't have his car, so we went up with Fallon. So Brandon and Fallon drove up, and like thank God she was there, and his dog was with us too. So it was like one of these things where like thank God Fallon was there to keep all of us just like in a good mood, But we did. It was one of those rooms where we walked in where I went, oh yeah, this is gonna be really tough for him because he is still learning that like you have to just learn how to do these rooms.
Well, I had this last run I just got back from. It was a rough room. Like the crowd. It's normally a fun show, and the crowd just wasn't cooperating. And the showrunner was like, dude, I am so sorry. I was like, bro, this doesn't even hit top 5. Like, no, you're good. Like, you're paying me well. This is, there's 8 people here that are actually listening. Doesn't even scratch the surface, dude.
Last show I did in Evansville, funny enough, Will, I got heckled by the bouncer of the venue, the security guard. The guy working the front door could not stop. I was like,
we're on the same team. I was
like, security. Oh, who do I call? Security is heckling me. Like, if somebody help me.
You like ask the bartender to like go fight the bouncer, and it's just perfect.
Turns out and then the bouncer at the end of the set came up, told me he loved my set, even though he talked over me, and gave me his UFC merch. I guess he's like a former UFC fighter. I'm like, thank God I just let you heckle me instead of.
So glad I didn't say anything that upset you,
UFC fighter.
Yeah.
But isn't that the growing trend right now? It's such a funny like topic that comes up all the time now. But like, I don't know if he was part of this or not part of this, but like. Comedy is divided in because we're posting so many crowd interactions.
Right.
Audiences are being trained to think like, oh, I'm helping the show. And then when you get up there and you're like, no, I just want to tell stories and get out of here. And they're just like, well, how do I help this? Like, so it's like,
well, the good thing is I do feel like as weird as we feel about it, the audience does as well. Like I've heard a couple of audience members being like, if we sit up front, they're not gonna talk to us, are they? Like so the audience feels just as like it's just like there's a handful of comics that are welcoming it. There's only a handful of crowd members that are welcoming it.
Well, because now now comics got the camera pointed at the crowd for just like an average Wednesday night show, like not even a special. It's like, listen.
And I feel like we killed the content, man. I don't know about you guys, but reels that I've been putting out are not getting the numbers that they once got.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to start looking. What's the next thing?
We heard, but I did hear recently we had a headliner come through town, and pretty well known, but they stopped the show and they did the show's over, but I need to get clips for TikTok reels. So they did the Q&A thing at the end. And people just walked. People were just like, no, show's over. Like, we're not sitting here. And so I do. And like,
I was about to say, you got to seamlessly transition to that if that's what you're doing. Don't let the crowd.
You got to be good at it too. You got to be really good. Yeah. But this is like when we had Anthony DeVito on last year, and he said like, I do think this is like a fad, and it's going to stop. And hopefully, hearing that, like who this headliner was, what they've accomplished, who they're associated with, I was like, all right, if they can't do it, hopefully it is starting to end.
I just hate that they're taking reels with them, like the fun clips and stuff, because that's kind of killing those numbers too, I feel like.
Yeah, like
that does suck. But I mean, I guess we'll figure out what the next thing is.
I have to so I follow Gary Goldman, and he's like one of my idols, right? And he's so funny to watch on reels and TikTok and stuff because his jokes are like 8 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah. How do you chop those up?
So I forget which joke it was specifically. I assume it's the Trader Joe's joke, but it could be any number of jokes that he has. But he literally has to post it as part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and I love it. Like I think it's like if you're, and I think that's one of those like the fans kind of come through and they go, oh, you got to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rory Scovel's been posting like full jokes.
Okay.
He's not
I think
just
we're gonna get back to like 5-minute clips on YouTube.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
jokes, like a singular joke and not just a 30-second clip. I think that's what's going to happen, because I feel like these platforms are going to adjust. Like I think Facebook and Instagram will start having it to where you can have, I mean, you already can post 5-minute clips, but I think that's going to become more of the norm. So I think that's going to be the next step, is posting full jokes again. And I don't know if we'll have captions with it. If not, I don't know
I mean, and then the clips just help lead people to that. So
so.
clips, I do think that eventually the clips will serve to take you to somewhere else versus just like a standalone clip
to get your name out there.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's becoming one of these things where like, like Dusty just posted a thing being like, I don't need to do the Q&A at the end.
Right.
Like, let's just have like let the show be the show. And I think the more we have guys like that saying to the audience, saying to their audience, hey, I don't do that. Yeah. I don't do that. I want to do this. I think that's going to help move it the direction that we all wanted to go back to.
Yeah.
And so,
because it is welcoming. Because I mean, I was with Dusty a couple of months ago, and he had a guy that just would not shut up in the audience, and he finally had to be like, "Look, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
these people want to see me tell jokes.
Yeah. They didn't come here to they didn't pay for you to talk to me.
Yeah. So
if you want that, tune in tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on your local ABC network.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of local networks, Evan, I wanted to bring you on to, congratulate you on the album and get word out about it. But I also
thank you
wanted to bring you on and get your take on you're a UFC fan, you're a wrestling fan, all of this kind of intertwines. How do you feel about, and I mean it's been a trend now for a while, the celebrities fighting other celebrities, but we got kind of the mecca coming up. We got Elon Musk against Mark Zuckerberg, and they're talking about fighting in the Roman Coliseum for some reason.
Wait, seriously?
I mean, they brought it up on Twitter. I don't know if it was
a
joke, what it was.
Part.
The Italian, who was it? The mayor of Rome or somebody of
Whatever
Italy basically said, if you really want to do this, come do it at the Coliseum.
Yeah. So
the
I love that little sprinkled in there. Yeah. So
the Coliseum doesn't have a floor. You can't do it in the Coliseum.
I say battle to the death. Why not? They want to mess around and find out. Let them kill each other.
I mean, I think that this is, when I see headlines like this, it's so funny because we are living in such a weird time, right? It's 2023. I just went to Bonnaroo, right? And like I'm I'm walking to one of the sets, and it's Shaquille O'Neal doing a headlining DJ set. And I'm just sitting here like, what is going on in society, right? Like we've got, like, we know this person from this thing. It almost feels like I'm like, the timeline has sent me back to being a child, where now Shaquille O'Neal is my DJ.
About to drop another rap album.
Yeah, he's about, we've got Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk talking about fighting each other. Like there's all of these weird things kind of going on.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Let me take a step back first before we get into that main event fight. Do you think now more than ever, with your background with dealing with celebrities, having to work with TMZ and everything, if you haven't checked out Evan's episode where he goes into depth about that, please do. It's episode 3, season 2. Check it out. But do you think now more than ever the lines of celebrity are blurred? Like you don't really know someone for one thing anymore. It's just, oh, you're just an overall celebrity. Let's see where you pop up.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that, we're entering into this world where these celebrities can really do anything that they want. The Weeknd is now on a hit show on HBO that
Such a
everyone
bad
seems
show.
to hate.
That he
but
fired the writers and rewrote it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. Like The
It got
Weeknd,
canceled. It
The
finally got
Weeknd
canceled.
fired writers on a TV show and rewrote it. That is what we are allowing The
And
Weeknd
it
to do. A
made
guy who's never really
five
acted,
shows.
right?
And from what I'm reading, like made the show exponentially worse by doing so, because it was like a decent show.
Well, how much trouble would we be in if he made it better?
Yeah, that's true.
Like
you get guys like Jack Harlow who pop up as a hip hop artist,
from YouTube,
maybe 3-4 years ago. We don't necessarily know about
now
him. Now we know about him, and now he's in White Men Can't Jump, right?
And have you seen it?
No, but I bet it's good.
It's not bad.
I'm
Hannah
sure
and I
it's
watched
good.
it the other day, and like we were watching, and I was like,
he actually can play basketball. Like that's the crazy part.
Yeah. But with the little bit of like experience I've had, like dealing with like live performance in terms of like seeing other actors do it, I can tell that like he's waiting for the person to finish their lines to say his lines. And Hannah was like, no, he's like doing fine. He's playing a stoner. I'm like, yeah, that's how they got around it, is he's playing this kind of stoner. But like I can see him like, okay, the line's ever my turn. You know, like, but honestly, very entertaining movie, and I would watch it 15 times.
I mean, I love the original. The original best.
Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't.
I like Jack Harlow. Well, no, I'm not holding that against it.
So we're in this world where like we're not really confining people to what we've known them as, and we're definitely letting people like have their second chapters in life or whatever, which I think is super cool. But it does kind of create these moments where you're like, okay, like is this like a genuine progression of things?
Yeah.
Like a genuine evolution,
or is it the next step of videography?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is where, with something like this, it's very hard to tell.
Yeah. Because my favorite second chapter, celebrity second chapter, is finding out Paris Hilton is a house DJ now and has a massive following.
Right.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Or it's like the guy
Who
from
would have thought the party girl would be the DJ?
Mm-hmm.
Should be the head of the party. I when back in New York, I used to when I was like crashing on couches and floating around for a couple years, I stayed with my buddy Alex Grubard, and when he would have a show and I didn't, I would just hang out with his girlfriend and we would just watch Vanderpump Rules. And that was like our thing. But then I found out like this dude, like the how like every reality show does have like a bad guy, whether they edit it that way or they're actually a bad guy.
Yeah.
So the quote unquote bad guy is like a massive DJ and makes a ton of money and he's like, and I've had my like Spotify on and like shuffling or whatever, and just like he's come on. I've been like, oh, I didn't realize this was the same guy. But yeah, like everyone just has these other jobs that they're just making hand over fist money.
Mm-hmm. Do any of y'all have a favorite chapter 2 for a celebrity that pivoted into something else? Because I love Common as an actor. I think he.
Oh, have you seen Silo?
No,
it's an Apple show, and I just sort of watched.
Oh, I saw the preview for it. Yeah.
And he's decent. Like when I worked with him at Peter Pan, or no, sorry, I worked with him at The Wiz, and he only had like 2 or 3 lines or whatever. And it was like, oh, there's a reason he has 2 or 3 lines.
Yeah, but he's grown.
He was acting then, but like he's good. Yeah, like he's fun to watch. Like he's very stoic and like he plays this part. Like he doesn't have a lot of range. That part very well.
What is it? That with the Vegas movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Smoking Aces.
Yes, I thought he was fantastic in that.
Yeah, he was good in that.
I got to shout out Diamond Dallas Page in his second chapter in life. Guy went from being a professional wrestler to now he's
an old professional wrestler.
saving lives. Yeah, old professional wrestler. Now he's saving lives with his DDP yoga program. Like I think his second chapter in life has been,
I like that. You went the philanthropist route. I like
then also looking at people like,
You see how it struggled
I
to
would
get it
say
Yeah.
Tim McGraw is always kind of
Oh yeah.
acted
Okay.
a little bit, but
I
his role in
I don't know
1883
why,
was
and
such a
this might get me
breakthrough.
canceled
Yeah.
in Nashville, but I hate his wife.
You
You
hate
don't like
Faith
Faith
Hill?
Hill?
I hate Faith Hill.
She was good in 1883.
Dude,
There
if
was
my
this.
heart
There
had
was.
wings, bro.
I'm sorry, but
God.
there was this moment. I was watching CMT Awards years ago, and Carrie Underwood beat her for top female vocalist, and they cut to her at the wrong time, and
She's
they
like,
cut to Faith Hill backstage, and she's like, "What?"
Who
And
is
from then on, I've been like, "Yeah, I hate her."
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
when
And I don't even like Carrie Underwood. I thought she was ridiculous when she had a tiny little cut, and she's like, "I'm too hideous to be seen by the public."
Oh my God, she was like, my face. Next time you see me, it's gonna look different. I'm
hey,
like,
we leave Carrie out of this.
Yeah,
I
leave
like
Carrie
that.
out of this.
I forgot y'all were homies.
yeah.
Oh, the manager hasn't texted me back. I sent a text the other day because we got drinks, so I'm like, I guess we're still somewhat, connected. But then I texted him the other day. I'm not gonna tell you what I texted him, but it wasn't anything like inappropriate or like ridiculous. But it was just one of those texts where I'm like, this elicits a response, and then get it, and I was like, all right, well, it has been a minute, but. So what I was going to say is we're talking about Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, and so Evan and I would watch 1883 together sporadically. We try and watch Yellowstone together. I've fallen off on season 5, but I would happily go back into it since I found out it's the last one. But I saw this really funny interview with Tim McGraw. Like he's one of those actors that like he has 4 lines the whole season, and he just plays this like badass cowboy, so it works.
Yeah.
But I saw a really funny interview where like I love when celebrities just accidentally show how awful their relationship is. Where like they were like talking to the two of them, like, and they were like, and he was like, yeah, honestly, acting together rekindled the relationship, and like we have a passion for each other that we haven't had so long. And I was just like, you just got to see Faith Hill's face, like, damn it, Tim,
See,
keep it together.
She sucks. He knows she sucks.
But
no, I think he was great.
Lights.
That's what I was about to say. I
Yeah.
loved him in Friday Night Lights.
I didn't know that was him because I'm not like a Tim.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah. But like
he was in The Blind Side as well. He was in The Blind Side.
Oh,
He's a very good actor, but
Yeah.
His 1883, and even if we're gonna, I know we're not into her, but Faith Hill's second, that was her first time acting, and it was
great.
She was pretty great. She's pretty great.
If you
I'm
can
not a hater.
listen,
I'm not a hater. I can respect what she's done.
but I got the snot cry.
Wouldn't want to have
That's
a conversation with her. You know what I mean?
But I do want to talk about this Elon Musk Zuckerberg thing.
Yes,
and I also want to talk about Logan and Jake Paul and the influence that they are having on
the world,
like the celebrity fight culture that we are now in. Because
real quick, before we get into this, I just need to know off the bat what side we're on. Everyone's on here. So who's winning?
Well,
who's winning? Okay, I like this
because I think once we get into more details, we got to know
who's winning between Elon and Mark. You mean?
I think Zuck is going to be a low key submission specialist.
Yeah,
and he is going. And Elon Musk is.
We're all Team Zuckerberg. Okay,
Elon Musk is going to think, I can knock this guy out.
Exactly.
But I think if you look at their body types, Elon
Zuckerberg
Musk
is also a lot younger too, right?
Yeah, and Zuckerberg just looks like he probably has more flexibility.
Well, and didn't Elon Musk say like I don't work out?
Exactly.
Yeah, like didn't Musk say like I don't work out, like I'm in terrible shape? Like I think it's going to be like
look like he works out.
He's got a very pear shaped body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm going.
He's a type of dude that I wouldn't
submission.
feel weird with my shirt off beside.
Yeah. But also when you have that much money, like if I ever get out of debt. And I'm not even talking about being rich. I'm talking about just getting out of debt.
To where your money's your money.
My body type is going to change drastically. Like I will be eating KFC at least twice a week.
It is good. Extra crispy.
Full bucket.
Yeah.
And I will get, it won't be a pear. It'll be a full, it'll be a watermelon.
But I do, Drew, we're wrestling fans, and we've as WWE fans, we've always experienced celebrities coming in and
Pete Rose.
getting into cool storylines with people. Most recently, we saw literally Bad Bunny,
I
one of the
thought
most
he did
popular
fantastic.
music acts on the planet.
Yeah, throwing himself.
Headline a pay-per-view in a street fight.
That pop that when he came through the crowd in Puerto Rico, my God, man. I thought that.
Wait, who did he
I finally
fight?
understood.
He fought Damian Priest.
Now we understand why. We didn't know Damian Priest was about to get a big push with this Money in the Bank briefcase, so they set him up.
so the event was in Puerto Rico, where Bad Bunny is from, and where Damian Priest is from.
They sold out this massive event center in Puerto Rico. Like everyone's there, everyone's hyped.
Initially, Bad Bunny was just going to be the host of the event, but then as the storyline went on, it turned out that Bad Bunny actually ended up headlining.
And this was wrestling, or this was
WWE wrestling?
Yeah,
this
yeah,
happened about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah,
and honestly, the audience loved it. Probably got the reaction of the
when
night.
He came through the corner. Through the curtain. My God, man,
it's just insane.
Yeah, and then you've got kind of what Logan Paul and Jake Paul have kind of been up to.
Yeah,
especially in WWE, Logan Paul has come in. They've put him against the top stars in the company, like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, the Mysterios. They just put him in the Money in the Bank match. He's really held his own. And then on the flip side with Jake Paul, on Jake Paul in the boxing matches that he's been going after, people like Tyrone Woodley.
Let me scratch your conspiracy theory here. Do you think these guys got paid to lose to Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe
absolutely.
So. Well, what's the Floyd Mayweather thing? I mean, that was like.
Well, the thing about
they almost
that was believable. Well,
but that was an exhibition, and it was an exhibition.
That was believable because Floyd never really knocked anybody out in his career. He was a fight till the decision, get the decision kind of guy from day one. So I knew going into that, I was like, he was smart about this decision because Floyd never beats. He does enough to get the decision. He never knocks people out. So I was like, this dude's smart about fighting Floyd Mayweather.
And Floyd is smart too because, like, let's be honest, boxing has experienced a resurgence because of
we care about the boxers
guys being in there. And it's not even about caring about the guys. It's like we like people who have like natural charisma, natural characters associated with when they step into the ring type that. And they're such like good natural like villains in a way because of how we know them, that you often don't need an additional type of storyline or any sort of stakes or any
sort of see him get punched in the face.
And then, but also because of the fact that they're in LA and because of who they're talking to, there are all of these really unique fights happening that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
But we want to see them.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can tell you as a fan in WWE, I now look forward to a Logan Paul match more than some of these other ones, simply because it's exciting. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. There's natural storytelling elements at play.
He's a great athlete. Forced. I hate to admit it, but he is a hell of an athlete.
And he looks like he like committed to learning the craft, being part of the story.
He came in very respectful.
What that means.
Like as much as you hate his guts, he came in with his hat in hand, and the wrestlers have really.
So now, when you look at what the Pauls have set up in boxing, when you look at what WWE has set up over here, when you look at the merger between WWE and UFC, I think we're entering into a world of like, celebrity deathmatch meets real life. And I think that we're going to continue to see these very bizarre matchups that aren't necessarily fight culture related. It's more just like popular culture related.
Let's just watch this, see what happens.
Well, I mean, I think that goes more with the theme of blurring the lines of you're just a celebrity. You're not a musician anymore. You're not an actor. You're a celebrity.
Well, and going to what Evan said about like the Pauls naturally sliding into that role as villain. As someone who's not really a huge WWE fan or even a boxing fan, and like just the way I've been viewing it and when I watch with you guys, like there's almost this like what Logan Paul did with wrestling was like respectable, and you were like, oh, he treated this well, fun to watch him. Like you do look forward to like a. Whereas Jake has become like the extreme villain, where like you are just waiting for a proper boxer to not just beat him, like put him in a coma so that we never have to hear him again. And it's like, as much as I don't like him, as much as I can't stand him, whoever his publicist is a fucking genius.
Yeah.
Because like to have that much hate towards someone that hasn't like committed mass genocide, like it's you got to be good.
Well, I think we're going to committed mass genocide on our culture, but
Oh yeah. Him and the Kardashians are just like they're just like laughing
completely
at us.
Pillaged our culture, but
I
think we're finally going to see the real deal this time, because I don't think Nate Diaz could be bought. I don't think you can go to Nate Diaz and be like, "Here's $3 million, you're going to lose." Be like, no.
Well, and
like
Jake
he
Paul
legit
lost
wants
his
to be
last
the one.
Fight. Yeah, Jake Paul lost his last.
It was
fight.
One of the Furies, right?
Well, I think he's getting a big head now. I think he's now like, I'm awesome. I don't have to pay these guys to lose. I can actually beat them. And now he's realizing
he's not fighting. He's not fighting Nate Robinson. So he's like,
not fighting 50-year-old MMA fighters anymore.
Yeah,
you know. So like, Nate Diaz is going to knock his face off, and it's going to be glorious.
Ugh, when's that?
That's in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I'll mark the calendar. I will drive extra for Uber Eats just to watch. I'm not going to make rent, but I will watch this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would even like? How do you even sell a boxing match like Zuckerberg versus Musk? Like, how do you even?
Who goes to that?
Who opens? Yeah, like who?
You gotta have an awesome card before them, because most of us don't care. You know, like I'll read the results the next day.
I'll read the results. Yeah, I'm not going to put the time in to watch. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what are we all going to do? Spend $70 to put more money in these billionaires'
two people
pockets?
that can't fight?
I think the more money than they have 2 cards ahead of them, right?
They have to donate this money. They have.
Oh, they're 100%. There's no way they're keeping this money. Like, what are they? They don't. What are they going to do? They're going to put it in their pocket and walk around with it? Like, they're so rich. I think the first fight is Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump. I think that's the first, and it's submission. And then I think
it's a ladder match for the Constitution. The Constitution is at the top. It's a ladder match for the Constitution.
I mean, if it involves climbing a ladder, Nancy wins that 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
I say we have a tag team match. It's Nancy and Biden against Trump and DeSantis, and we get a great turn at the end where Trump turns on DeSantis and costs them both the match.
No, it's got to be Nancy. It's got to be Nancy and Bernie, because Biden would forget where he was and just be like, oh no.
Well, that's why it would be a great swerve. Trump and DeSantis are meant to win this. And right when DeSantis is on the ladder, Trump goes, no.
It then betrays him.
Hits him with a low blow.
So you mentioned this earlier. I do think they need to just bring back Celebrity Deathmatch, because like,
we've been yelling for this for a hot minute.
I don't need to see Elon Musk and Zuckerberg fight, but would I watch them do it in play? Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Like I would watch that repeatedly.
Here's what we'll do. We'll have Elon Musk and Zuckerberg actually fight. No cameras. No one will actually be there. But then they'll recreate it for all of us on Celebrity Deathmatch.
Like the 2 of them have to commentate and be like, this is where
I broke my arm.
Yeah, but I can't even listen to the 2 of them talk.
That's the thing. I can't either.
Like, the 2 of them, like when you realize how much money they made and how smart they are, and then you hear them talk, you're like, what?
How?
You invented Facebook? Like, it's just like 2 people came out from a cave and like they're like, hey, here's society.
I feel like they need to fight. If Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg do this fight, it's winner take all. You become the king of social media. You get both platforms.
Twitter and
you get to hold them both above your head.
Well, that's like
become the king of both.
Just have 2 big icons up top, the Facebook and the Twitter icon.
It just merged.
It's like what's the game where like Mario fights?
Oh, Super Mario World,
It's like
or
super. Yeah, it's
Or
no,
Smash
it's
Brothers?
Smash Brothers. It's like
Yeah.
Smash Brothers, but like it's just like the icon is just Zuckerberg, like in a kimono or whatever they're called.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like the logo just becomes like an NBA logo, but of Zuckerberg, like a
like just
silhouette
like
of
you know
like
he's gonna
this.
wear like a taekwondo gi
That's
for
what it
the
is. Yeah, that's
match,
what I was
you know,
talking
and
about.
you're just like, why?
Yeah,
And Musk is gonna be wearing some gym shorts that he doesn't fit into.
he's gonna
I
be
mean,
wearing
imagine
$700 gym shorts. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, imagine we are all terrified of AI and social media just taking over, and these guys are like, yeah, we're just doing Muay Thai right now. We've kind of let someone else take over the dashboard of our social media platforms that are destroying humanity.
well, the Twitter thing's gotten so I deleted Twitter the second Musk bought it because I wasn't really big on Twitter anyway. Like I would,
I've been loving watching The Wasteland. To be
I
Yeah,
honest.
can't
like
delete my Twitter, man. I got like 127 followers that need my posts.
yeah. Like I had my moment on Twitter where it's like I had a couple of like I had like two viral tweets and then nothing happened. And then I was starting to get this weird men's activists. Like I don't know what happened, but they were just like, "You're telling it like it is, brother." I'm like, "No, dude, it's a fucking joke, you idiot." But I just like as soon as Elon Musk bought it, I was like, Twitter's not something I need in my life anymore, and I just deleted the whole thing. But now that it's like it almost feels like he is going out of his way to destroy this platform. Like I saw that he's like you can only see 601 or 600 whatever it is. But also who is on there so much that you're seeing 600 posts?
Well, my whole
Like
thing is it's massive, you know, and I follow so many people. Like, don't
Yeah.
limit me. You know what I mean? Like, let me have that stream. If I'm bored and on Twitter, let me get it all. Let me take it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
in. That's so stupid to limit. Like, that's the
Yeah,
only
'cause
reason
it's
I
like
go
you're
to
not gonna
Twitter is
say
for quantity, not quality.
right, and that's like TikTok. That's like why you watch TikTok and Reels, right? Like I don't need to hear Joe Rogan's new conspiracy about where Atlantis is. But if it pops up,
I'll
sure, it's
take the
part of
time.
it's part of my 11 p.m. Wind down. You know, like don't tell me I can't see that.
Yeah. So, what would
I don't
you,
know.
if you became a celebrity with comedy? What would you? What would be your parlay? What would be your pivot? What would you?
When Drew, we're manifesting
Oh, I'm sorry.
When, yes.
When? What are you turning that into? What's your second chapter celebrity?
I think you guys know what I want.
politics.
I want to be.
President of the United States.
Well, I've always had it in the back of my mind that
Yeah,
I wanted to go into
the bear a little bit.
I used to dress up in a suit, wear little American flag pins. I had a
That was just for dinner on Wednesdays.
Look, if you're
I
announcing your
really-
2024 presidency, just do it, my man.
We are old enough now.
I did think at one point I could be president, but then when I realized that all of our presidents are related, and I'm not related to any of them, I'm not going to be considered.
I'm sure.
But y'all know that what I want to do is I want to be a ring announcer.
Yeah.
There you go.
For fight culture, whether it's boxing, professional wrestling, I want to be in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ring. It's time. Coming.
I love when Buffer gets
Falls.
into it, man. Yeah, dude.
You know,
like he's pointing at the fighter.
7 pounds.
In the red corner.
The Maverick. Like that's what I want to be doing. That's
how many times have you done that in the shower? You've done that all the time. Yeah. There's just certain things.
I watch wrestling and I'm like, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. I mean, I am out here. I am
ready.
Overly critical of the people that currently do it. Like I am.
He didn't put the right emphasis.
I don't even watch the fights for the fights. I watch it to be like, what is the ring announcer doing?
Yeah.
So that's what I would be doing.
Who's the guy that like was the ring announcer and now he's wrestling and he's like he loves it so much and then he got messed up by Stone Cold?
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, and Stone and like that was his dream.
His dream was to
I took a stunner by Stone Cold at WrestleMania. And I got kicked in the nuts by Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dream.
Oh, if I could have anyone's career, it'd be Pat McAfee. No doubt.
all over
Be
the
a
place.
punter.
Yeah, that guy's
Be known as the punter, like the
Mhm.
punter of all, the greatest punter of all time, and then parlay that into an $85 million deal with ESPN.
Yeah. Drew, what's
That's
your
what that's what I would do. Sports commentating,
sports
center,
commentating?
or be like a guest on Get Up every now and then, or First Take.
Yeah.
I could see you doing. They just fired a bunch of people on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They,
Being
they cleaned house big time.
Yeah.
outside contractor. You know what I mean?
I could see Drew sitting there. You get nice clean shaven.
Yeah. No, I don't know about all that.
And you're sitting there. You're doing your little facial expressions you've been practicing, and
Yeah.
I could see it. And you're just
talking,
like
talking Braves or football. Like, yeah, I'm there for it, man.
See, I would just
or I like Evans. I got to be an announcer for a kickball tournament.
Oh yeah,
And that was the highlight of everything. I could do this for sure. Like be like an announcer for like a AAA, like for the sounds.
it's such a long road. Like I have friends because Emerson has such a huge journalism.
I'd be a celebrity, so I'd just skip the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're saying like you don't even have to wait. You just it's like Shaq. Like you just go straight.
Like I know
into
it's not happening naturally.
Yeah,
But if I just show up and be like, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah,
it makes it easy.
My buddies from Emerson that like did they've done the route, and like it's sort of funny because we're 10 years out of college, 10, 12 years out of college. So like they are now like established sportscasters in Tucson, Arizona. It's like it's this kind of funny thing where I see them posting on LinkedIn and they're like they are local celebrities because they go to the whatever college is in whatever town they're in.
Yeah.
And it's just such a grind. And I remember like them coming up and they were like one of my buddies was in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, which is the tiniest town just outside of Hagerstown. And he was living there for like a year, just like doing, sports. And
I also would love
if I could bypass that. Yeah.
I also thoroughly enjoy acting. So I would love to be the stoner best friend on a sitcom or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. I would love to do that. So I've always enjoyed acting. I've always felt like I've been okay at it. Just doing little sketches like around Wilmington and stuff like that. Like I got a fairly decent reel.
You're great in the paid vacation sketches, man.
See,
those are so great. Shout out to Paid Vacation, Nashville-based sketch team.
I had people actually believing I was blind, so that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
So I thoroughly enjoy playing a character.
Yeah. See,
I would never want to be myself on a TV show. Like, oh, sure, it's Drew Harris.
See, this is exact opposite. I want pure celebrity. I want like George Clooney-esque, where I'm just like.
So you want everything
Will
to be
Abeles.
Will Abeles as himself.
Bill Murray, kind of just like I'm not gonna like it's like Jack Nicholson, who has not acted a day in his life. He's always just been Jack Nicholson, but everyone's like he is like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my favorite films. He's just playing Jack Nicholson. Like there's no different.
That's same as the Joker and Batman.
Yeah, I just want to sit courtside. Actually, honestly, I guess I just want Pete Davidson's career. I want to have zero talent. And just be me all the time. And then just like someone goes, hey, we're going to give you like 5 shows for no reason that no one's going to watch. And you're just like, all right, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. Those Taco Bell commercials are pretty funny.
Oh my God. They come out cause I don't pay for Spotify Premium. I put all my money elsewhere like Hulu, but I get his ads where he's like, hey, it's me, Pete Davidson. And like, that's what the ad is just seems going, they want me to talk to you about smart water. That's the ad.
I do love Taco Bell where he's like, was there a script?
I mean, imagine the amount of money put behind an ad that has like such little thought.
Oh yeah. And
it is truly mind blowing.
And that's sort of like we were talking about this earlier of like what the Pauls have done and like how society is just crumbling before us. Even like advertisers, people that have been doing this their entire life are like, what if the ad is just not an ad?
We don't care. What if the ad is we don't care? What if we spend $1 million to communicate
and you're like, care? This is UNICEF. We have to care.
Right.
Play some sad music. Show me some sick kids. Like we know the drill by now.
The Red Cross. It's all fucked. It's like, what? I mean, like we need some.
You're like.
We need some faith-based messaging out here.
Yeah, like Bono's not available. Who's next? Oh, let's get Pete Davidson.
The Red Cross. We need your blood because they don't want mine.
But that's another guy. I genuinely I like Pete Davidson. Like
I got no
I
problem.
love what's happening around him. Where because I listened to him on WTF a long time ago, and he was talking about like what happened to him with SNL, and he was like, do you guys remember when they were like, oh, he's got a drug addiction, and the truth was he had crippling anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
He's got I forget what
he's got
social
PTSD as well.
Yeah,
because he just
but
checked himself into rehab for that.
oh, did he? Okay, so but he was smoking weed. He was just smoking weed to like calm down, and he just like went to Lauren Michaels and was like, "Hey, I think I'm smoking too much weed." And they were like, "Okay, cool. We have a guy that can help you cut back." And then he like accidentally said, "Oh, I'm addicted to drugs" or something. Like it was like he just like missed. And everyone was
that's
like,
what I
"Oh
loved
my
about
God."
him and Mulaney's friendship is because even John Mulaney would be like, "Who did you think would have the drug problem?"
Yeah. And so like I kind of like that he just like was biding his time, stayed in the writer's room, popped on a Weekend Update, and then just for some reason, everyone was like, "Hey, we're making this guy the biggest name on
People
the planet."
love that laid back persona,
Mm-hmm.
And he's really done he's obviously done stuff. He like had it, the movie was pretty good, and like the show's decent or whatever. Like he does work. It's not like he's just sitting around collecting paychecks.
Right. And
But
his
like
stand-up's
it's not
okay, like it's not my cup of tea, but I can see why people.
I think that's sort of the disappointing thing is like I remember when he was doing stand-up in New York when he was like 20 years old, and he was good. Like he good for 20. He wasn't like it's not like he's like Louis C.K. or Bill Burr or something, but like for 20, you're like, oh, this guy when he's 30 is going to be incredible. And I think that's sort of the one thing that's sort of fallen off. And like I feel like if I didn't know that he did this when he was so young, I could watch his stand up now and go, oh yeah, like I think that's something that if he had stuck with
what he could have been, yeah,
mm-hmm. And like maybe that's something he's doing stand up live down in Huntsville. Like it's not like he's above doing these clubs, like yes, he can
but he
out.
canceled it. But he canceled that.
Oh,
show.
Did he cancel it?
He ended up
in rehab
that show.
Oh well, the things I miss because I
so again, I in my experience with him, he's often, at least in the cities that I'm in, he's booking shows and then canceling them.
Oh, is he really? You know what? Cancel everything I just said.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's good that he's out there booking shows and stuff. But there comes a point where, it's as comics, like there is a piece of being reliable, dependable, like to your fan base. And if you're consistently setting up shows and then canceling them, then you kind of begin to lose your fan base in comedy, and then your fan base will just be these mainstream. Like I heard Matt Rife talking about how he doesn't have comedy fans. He has fans for him that want to just watch him. Yeah. So when he goes, and that it can kind of be a similar
I wonder dynamic. If that makes it difficult for his openers.
Probably. Absolutely.
You know who his openers are? That's something that always fascinates me is like who is opening for who. Like you opening for Dusty, that makes 100% sense to me. You know what I mean? Just like in terms of your style, your delivery.
Like, does he have another like
is it another TikToker
good with his shirt off?
Right.
Because I actually like Matt Rife's comedy.
When the comedy's
funny. I think he's very funny. Yeah,
very funny. Yeah. And I'm just wondered if he's, and hats off to him because he sold out that world tour. Like I've got nothing
immediately.
I loved watching all the comics roast that dude or try to roast that dude because they got no leg to stand on. I thought, but I'm just saying, do you set your, like if someone like me walked out before him, what kind of response would I get? You know what I mean? Like I'm very intrigued that
and there
what comic would do well.
And I just think there comes a point as comics where your audience is no longer comedy fans, and it's just people that have really gravitated towards you.
Maybe he just walks out. Maybe he doesn't have an opener. Maybe he's got a voice of God that's like, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Rife.
Yeah. I mean, and with a tour that big, I mean, like, how do you really even open? If I didn't have Facebook, I wouldn't have known anyone had a problem with him announcing his world tour because, like, I follow him on TikTok and all that stuff, and like. Yeah, I don't like the crowd work and that kind of stuff, but I understand why people are doing it. Like you have to do it to create content every single day. Like I understand why people are doing it. But I've always liked his material and like all that kind of, and he's like one of those guys like he's been doing this forever. You know, it's not
That's
like
what people are like, oh, Gus, you just need to take your shirt off and you
no,
make
it's like
it.
he's been
Like,
doing
nah,
the
he's
work
put
for a
in the
long
work.
time. Yeah. And
that's
you know,
that's
and as petty as I can be, this is one of the few times that I like I sat back and watched people blowing up on Facebook and was just cracking up. I was like
That's
his
nice. It's a good feeling, isn't it? Not to join in.
yeah. Well, his and the funny thing is I made a comment on it as a fake ad to get people to send me their videos to edit.
Oh,
And it
okay,
was
nice.
so funny because I was making fun of people. You know, it's one of those things where like you either get it, you don't get it. But I was making fun of people that had a problem with Matt Rife. And then I just like made this whole comment. And then I said, but the one thing you have to do is absolutely send me your content so I can edit it for you or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And like most popular post, it was more popular than me announcing I was going to record a special because everyone had a comment like, oh, sounds like Matt Rife, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, guys, you're missing the point. Like,
yeah.
Like, yes.
Well, sometimes you just say the name, man. I had a tweet, like, I don't do well on Twitter either.
Yeah.
But I had a tweet that said 2024 Celebrity Couple of the Year, Matt Rife, and Taylor Swift.
And Taylor Swift.
People just love that.
They're
like, speak this into existence.
And it's like, what? Like, no, chill out. But I had to laugh when he made his announcement. You know, he's got his shirt off, he's doing push-up, and like Ashton Kutcher's in it or whatever. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Right.
But if you go back to 2020 and you look when I was announcing that I was doing a Zoom album, I did the exact same ad, except for instead of Ashton Kutcher, I had my brother Kevin, you know, and like it's me slow-mo getting out of a pool. And like I watched it, was like, yeah, people watch this shit. And I did that to piss off as many people as I could. Yeah. Like at that time, Boston's comedy scene was imploding because these fucking assholes, you know, got on someone's, I don't know, it's a whole thing I'm not going to go into now. All those people are not working anymore and they don't matter. But I know that they watch stuff like that and they're just like, look what Will Able is doing, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm going to do this to piss everyone off.
And I'm sure Rife did it too.
Yeah.
Be like, let me see.
Everyone was going to talk about it.
Yeah. And mission accomplished. I agree with you what you said earlier. He's got the best publicist in the world.
And again, we all need to be thanking guys like him for paving the way for what we hope to be doing. Because where in the world are comedians at this age doing stuff like that? And when in history has it been done like that? And now we all are being given a blueprint in a way that we can either try and do or not. But it just goes to show, like, yeah,
it can happen.
It can happen over. Like you can work really hard, and then it can just kind of happen, kind of like overnight. You know,
I think if anything, it really hammers home the find your audience, find your fans.
Well, and being, I think being prepared for when that spotlight happens. Like yes. I was talking to a musician friend, and we're talking about TikTok. We talk about TikTok a lot because there are similarities between, like, because you can be, I can't carry a tune, but I can get in front of a computer, I can edit something, and I can sound like I can sing, and then I put it on TikTok, and then lo and behold, it fucking blows up, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to sell out Red Rocks. Sing. You know, and so that's what we were talking about is like being prepared for that spotlight. You know, like I've been doing comedy for so long. So if I woke up tomorrow and someone says, hey, Will, you got to do Madison Square Garden. Sure, I'm going to be nervous, but I am going to know that I have an hour of material that I can run, you know, and like waking up and having no material and just doing crowd. Like there's so many comics that I know that are like, oh, I'm doing this full time. I'm going to try and do that. And they have 15 minutes. And it's like, you can't make a living off of this with 15 minutes. Like you like, and you can't fill the whole time with crowd work either. I mean, like if you can, if you're a specialist.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like what about those crowds that just will not talk to you?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like that happens, you know, so you do need the material to carry yourself through.
I think you just got to be versatile, man, you know, be able to roll with whatever happens to you.
But Matt
so
Rife,
many people are like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, just do it.
But Matt Rife was prepared. You know, so when he woke up and was like, "Oh, I'm the biggest comic on the planet right now,"
I thought he was hilarious. So wilding out.
Yeah.
Back before he had his teeth fixed.
Oh, I didn't know. Did he have bad teeth?
He had pretty bad teeth.
Oh, I love that.
But I mean, good for him. I would buy new, but I love when celebs buy new teeth.
Yeah, I want to just get.
Like,
I just want to get rich enough to be able to get new teeth. Not that I need new teeth, not that I want new
just
teeth,
know
but
that I
just
got
be
it in my
like,
back
listen, I
pocket.
could.
I could get new teeth if I
If I
wanted.
wanted to show up with some new teeth, I
Why
could.
not?
I could
Yeah.
Roman Reigns this thing, just show up
Yeah.
with some chompers. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
I
think
thought
my
the
teeth
dude
are
was
already
gonna
too big for
catch.
my mouth. I don't need new teeth.
I thought
No,
my man
Will,
was gonna
yeah, Will,
catch
your
more.
teeth. I feel like we all have pretty solid teeth. I don't want to
I'm good with
be.
my teeth.
I don't want to project onto y'all.
Yeah, I like.
That
I
my
is
mean,
teeth.
I
that
got
is the
some teeth
comment.
issues, but I'm still happy with them.
Yeah, like we
I got
that's
some
what we get in the
cavities here and
comments
there.
is like the podcast sucks, but thank God their teeth are good
But
to
look
look
at
at.
those
So nice.
teeth. Look at those
Yeah.
ivories.
I thought Matt Rife was gonna catch more crap for that snippet that came out about how he hated Atlanta than anything.
Yeah.
They're gonna like make it like a racist thing.
No, I think people have pride in Atlanta. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
love Atlanta. I don't
Why
live in
did he?
Atlanta,
What did he
and I
say?
love
I
Atlanta.
missed this.
He just
Atlanta's not a
says he
huge.
hate. He said he absolutely hated. If he hated one city in America, it was Atlanta.
Seriously, has he ever been to Detroit?
He says he never has fun in Atlanta. He says Atlanta is just never a good time.
That's so weird because I would say the opposite, where it's like Atlanta's one of those cities that like I
I
look
always have
forward
fun in Atlanta.
to going and performing in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
whatever.
I love Atlanta, but I don't want to live there, so I feel him on that.
Oh, funny.
It's too big, too much traffic. Very
That's the
spread.
thing.
Traffic
I
is
love
pretty
the
rough.
city of Atlanta. I love where I'm
Every
raised. I
day.
love going back. But to live there and to try and get around, especially when you're doing stuff like comedy and you're trying to hit spots, it can be very,
Yeah.
very hard. There's not good public transportation. It's
A lot of the same issues Nashville's running into right
That's
now.
actually a really good. I'm booking. I'm
But
booking.
Nashville is so much smaller and consolidated
Oh,
that
for
like
sure.
Nashville's
You can get
about
to
to overtake
places.
Atlanta because at
It's
least
easier to get around.
it's not an hour and 20 minutes across the city. It's maybe
Right.
like
30.
30.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'm booking that weekend in Atlanta coming up, and I like the guy I was talking to who booked me for like the Friday show. I was like, hey, is so and so still running Laughing Skull? Because I just want to like reach out and see if I can set that up. And he was like, yeah, so and so still running. I just reach out to him. Also, just a heads up, you can't do Laughing Skull and our show the same time. And I was like, and I remember just being like, what? And then I was like, oh yeah, because it's Atlanta, and even if it's only 4 miles apart.
Well, I appreciate him just
not-
being like, we're not saying you can't do it. We're saying you
Yeah,
can't.
just saying like
We're saying it is impossible. We're saying
Yeah.
everyone's tried and
Yeah.
people it is
Like-
you will physically
yeah,
You
like
will
I had
float
back-to-back
trying to do both.
shows. My first time doing Atlanta, I had back-to-back shows, and every person I talked to was like, "Do you think you're going to make both those shows?" And I did. I made both shows, but it was one of those where everyone was like, "You experience God was working that night." like that should be a 45-minute commute, and you somehow did it in the
Easily.
appropriate amount of time.
Yeah.
But like, and so I've been spoiled, so I don't really know, but yeah.
But that is funny. You do get that briefing from Atlanta, like, don't do the two shows at the same time. Don't ever.
Yeah. What would you say is like the worst city you've ever performed in? Like you just like it just doesn't happen for me.
Mobile, Alabama. Every time we've tried to perform in Mobile, Alabama, it has just not gone well.
Really?
And maybe it's because I've always tried to do it outside of the comedy. No, actually, that's not true. I've always tried to align it with the local comedy scene when I go to Mobile.
Yeah.
Just hadn't worked out.
But it's just never. I don't know if you guys have ever been trying to go down.
I just did it like last month. Yeah, and it was
It was
fantastic.
very hard.
That's what I'm saying.
Where were you at?
Well, every comic I feel like has a different curse. Like
Yeah.
I just have the whole state of South Carolina seems to hate me,
Yeah. You were telling that the other day. Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
It's
Like,
so funny. 'Cause you're the
It's
most
like one
likable
out of
comic.
every 5 shows is like a banger.
So I did Mobile like last month, maybe 6 weeks ago, whatever it was. But it was almost so I go down to Pensacola once a year and do shows, and Mobile's only an hour outside of Pensacola.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if there's a correlation there where like I've never had a bad show in Pensacola. Like it's always been fun. It's something I look forward to doing. And so I think because I knew that audience, Mobile wasn't that difficult. And I also know I have certain like not like hot button topics, but like I do, where I stand by the end of the set, right? And I think because I can sort of laugh that not everyone thinks that way, I think the set went fine. you know, and like I can
As
acknowledge
they're
like
slashing your tires in the parking lot.
yeah, because I knew it was like a very conservative audience, and they told me though, like, yeah, it's a very conservative audience. They were fine the entire way through, and I think it's because I do make fun of Joe Biden, and I think
Gotta
there's
make
this
fun.
kind of thing
Just
like
make fun
You
of
got
both
to.
sides, man.
they're like, oh,
Make
like,
fun
oh,
of
all
both
right,
sides.
Yeah, always make
Yeah.
fun of the president, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mobile, I've always been fine. That's funny to. I wouldn't know about Birmingham.
Yeah.
I
I've
wouldn't-
never performed. I've only done Huntsville. That's the only place I've done in Alabama.
and that's like basically doing Nashville.
Huntsville's been
Huntsville's
fun. Yeah,
great.
it's like
Huntsville's
yeah.
always been great to me.
What
Yeah.
city? I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day because I went back to New York to perform last year, and that was the first time I performed in New York since January 2020, right? And I think there's also something about having a hard time performing in your home audience sometimes. Whereas like when I was living in New York, when I would go on the road, it would be like crush, 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 crush. Everything was great. Everything felt great. And then I'd come back to New York, same jokes, and I would bomb. Not every time, but like enough that you were like, oh God, why can't I connect to this audience? And I feel like with Nashville, sometimes it can be hit and miss where like I'll go do Mobile and it crushes and I come back, same set, and it just kind of falls a little bit flat. And I don't know if that's an energy thing, if that's just like being too familiar with the audience. But I do think there's something there where it's like sometimes with your home crowd, maybe it's because you see them all the time.
I think it also has to do with like cities. I've noticed like when we did Charleston, we did the shows downtown that were just okay. But the moment we went 30 minutes outside of downtown,
Fantastic.
the crowd was whoa. So I think
Yeah.
it's like an unimpressed audience type thing. You have people who takes a lot more to get them going. They're probably already like thinking about what's next versus people who have been really looking forward to this thing.
That's a really good point.
That's kind
They
of been my
appreciate it
experience
more.
with doing like a downtown area versus like 20 to 30 minutes outside of downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that
Wherever you're
Monk's
trying to
Corner
perform.
show is just amazing.
Right.
You know, it's the same with Nashville. When you think about the shows in Murfreesboro,
Always good.
always a great time.
That's
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like that's kind of what I pick up on.
Like a
little
convenience thing.
Yeah. Or
Mhm.
just
Well, it's like,
a
and
need.
that makes sense because that's like
The
probably
need, yeah.
why Don't Tell is always so good. No matter what city you're in, Don't Tell is always good because it is like they paid, they know why they're
Mhm.
there, you know?
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah,
like even with clubs, you don't know like
Well, a lot of people get free tickets, or they win a ticket, or their friend
Right.
got them a ticket.
but I just mean like a showcase, like Don't Tell, you're expecting to not know who's there, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a surprise showcase at a club, you genuinely don't know who's there, and that can mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think I've ever seen anyone bomb at a Don't Tell show. I mean, we're not putting open micers up at like good shows, you know, like they're like, we're booking this and we're making sure that like this guy's traveling, they should be headlining this show. You know what I mean? Like this should be the surprise. And yeah, that's my Don't Tell round.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get them to sponsor
Love it.
me. I'm
Yeah.
trying to work them. I'm
Yeah.
trying to work. I just
Well-
want to do nothing but Don't Tell shows for the rest of my life.
I mean, I would be okay with that.
That's my goal.
Evan, real quick before we get out of here, man, we got to hear one crazy celebrity story that you got from the TMZ days.
Oh my gosh, one crazy celebrity story from the TMZ days.
Got any Kanye?
Oh. No, don't have any Kanye. I mean,
What people don't realize with Evan. So I was sitting with so this time
I got one. I got a story.
okay, like because we both worked with celebrities for a long time, right? And when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, I was sitting next to you at the bar,
Yeah.
and
And it was on mute. It was on mute.
it was
We
on
couldn't hear
mute, and we
anything.
just saw it
So you
happen.
didn't hear what he said? None
Right.
Of
And
it.
watching
Did y'all think it was
Evan-
a sketch?
Well, we both were just kind of like we both just went, "Is that real?" And you know, and it's the Oscars, right? So the way we both operated was so like I think about it every once in a while. Whereas like Evan knew exactly where to go source wise, and I just texted the stage manager to be like, "Is that real?" You know, like I texted my friends at work and was
Well,
like,
I mean,
"Are
you
you
got yours. You know, Evan's got his sources. You got
but
your
watching
behind the
Evan
scenes.
operate through like went to Twitter, did this, did that, and like then he like holds his phone up and goes, "It's real." It was for me, it was very cool to be like, oh, that's the other side of this culture of working with
Yeah.
celebrities. Like I'm trying to like on my side, it was like stage manager protecting them. Don't let them know the crazy thing they said. And Evan's like, tell me the crazy thing they said, you know? So yeah, what's your story?
So I'll do a positive story, something really cool, just to show you that like really amazing things can happen. So, you know, I grew up on all that, and Are You Afraid of the Dark and Keenan and Kel, these shows
We
on
got
Nickelodeon.
Paramount Plus, and we've been rewatching a lot of the old Nickelodeon stuff, and
All that was
nostalgia is
like that was one of my first introductions into comedy. And so, you know, I'm working at TMZ, I'm a story producer, and they announced that all that is they want to reboot all that. And so, you know, we're always thinking like, okay, right now they're just thinking about it. It hasn't been confirmed. You know, how can we keep the momentum going of the story potentially, you know? And so I ended up doing an interview with one of the, you know, basically original writers, head writers of all that. His name is Kevin Coppola. He was actually, if you remember all that, there would be the kids. Every show started off with the kids, and then the stage manager would run in with the headset and be like, "Guys, guys, guys!"
I
And
know
they'd, like,
exactly.
pie him in the face.
He was a stage manager.
Yeah, but he was on the show. He
Yeah.
he like played the character of the stage manager on the show too. He was like the only adult really that you saw, and so
and they disrespected him so much.
And they disrespected him so much. So that's Kevin. That's who I ended up interviewing. And you know, we had a great interview about why we should bring all that back, what it did for those cast members. I mean, people forget Nick Cannon was the warm-up comic for all that. That's why Nick Cannon has become Nick Cannon. He was the warm-up comic for all that. I mean,
didn't he take over after Keenan left?
And he was just really a child at the time when they were doing all that. So he was basically talking about just the roster of talent that's come out and why, you know, it should happen. And ultimately they ended up relaunching all that, you know, but, you know, in a lot of these conversations, especially with people that are somewhat related to comedy, I would tell them that I did comedy, and, you know, and I'd always like to tell them how much their comedy impacted my comedy and how grateful I was to be speaking with them. Well, Kevin ended up coming out and watching me one night when I did the Comedy Store. I did the original room at the Comedy Store on a show called D's Nuts, hosted by Vargas Mason on a Friday night. And Kevin came out and sat front row. And then we talked for like an hour or two outside after, just about comedy, about the business, all this stuff. He ended up eventually inviting me to be his personal guest on the set of all that one day, to watch them tape the show.
So you got to see him tape an episode,
which was super cool. And now he's you know, basically making Good Burger 2 with all those guys.
So
because he was
with Keenan and Kel.
Yeah, because they're making Good Burger 2, and Kevin, I want to say Kevin, I think he told me he wrote the Good Burger sketch on all that, like the idea that became the movie, that this, that. I think that was like he was, because he was a head writer and stuff. So to me, that was one of the most wild things, because it's like something that impacted me so greatly as a child, and in my like pursuit of comedy, I'm now kind of given the opportunity to not only like help that person continue to, you know, like at TMZ, we often would be like, oh, this is just an idea right now in the news. How can we flood our headlines to like push the conversation in the direction of this actually happening? So I'd say that was one of my favorite kind of moments.
That's awesome though.
That I take away from that experience. Yeah.
I loved all of those shows, man. Snick. Oh
yeah. Snick. I forgot about Snick. And
Snick.
The Sticks.
Nick at Night.
Keenan's such an interesting guy, because like he's been doing sketch comedy for his entire life, right? And there's always that weird,
man, two of the most influential sketch shows, all that for kids, and then Saturday Night Live.
And then Saturday Night Live. Yeah. And I feel like he gets a lot of flack because like he did enter SNL on kind of the waning years, where like it's just not what it used to be, and that's not really anyone's fault. It's just like people don't watch late night television anymore. Like, you know, like if you're gonna watch Fallon, you're gonna watch clips. You're not gonna watch the whole thing. But I feel like because he's so attached to that he's never gonna be considered like a Tim Meadows or like whatever it is, you know, where it's like he's been doing this for so long. But at the same time, like if you say Keenan, you don't need to say Thompson. You know exactly who we're talking about, right? Because we all grew up with Keenan and Kel, and like even Kel, who doesn't really have a career anymore, like, you know, Keenan and Kel. There's not a single person our age at this moment that doesn't know the Good Burger movie. You know,
Yeah.
So
that was a great soundtrack too. I still have that
Keenan,
cassette
I think,
somewhere.
Yep.
I think Keenan ultimately like is going to go down as one of the greats once people
Oh, I
like
think he'll
truly
get
review.
remembered. Truly,
you'll go
because
back and watch
because
and
it's
go,
like
yeah.
right now it's easy to like overlook and not really appreciate
Exactly.
like the consistency over the years and the professionalism
just the
and just
sheer
like
numbers he stayed on
the
SNL.
numbers, just the
Yeah. I mean, he's
yes.
got to be. He's the longest running cast member, right? Like, didn't he beat Tim Meadows?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
he's been there even longer, like that, and that's so
hard
although
to do. That is probably one of the hardest jobs to keep.
All right, Evan,
really
where can
fun.
we find the album at? Tell us
Boom.
the
You can
info.
find. Appreciate y'all having me.
Twice Removed.
Twice Removed is out. The album is out right now. You can find it on Apple Music. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Amazon. It's not on Spotify right now because Spotify is making it very hard for spoken word artists to
Are they
to
really?
just you know.
I mean, not surprised.
But you can find it all there. And then the special, the film will be coming out on my YouTube channel sometime probably in the next month or two. And I really appreciate y'all having me, and I
Of
appreciate
course,
anyone
man.
who gives it a listen.
Thanks for the
Absolutely.
chiming in with the hot gas. You know?
Thank you. Anytime.
Team Zuckerberg over here. Hope
I'll see you all at the fight. I'll see you all at the fight.
In
Well,
the
you have a blow up screen, so we can just watch the whole thing in your backyard.
There we go.
There we go.
There we
You gotta
go.
make your money
You think
back.
that
guys.
you think that you only need it for tonight, but in reality,
No.
you are
Right.
setting up for Friday nights at
Fight
Evans.
nights of the
Yep.
future. You know,
Friday
it's
fight
great.
nights. Yeah.
Nothing sounds better to me.
Yeah. Will, you got anything coming up you want to talk about real quick?
Oh God, rent. So besides, let's see, what do I got? I got actually, okay, yeah, no, we got Stone Cold Sober on
Yep.
Friday.
Yep.
Always a fun time.
Me and
I'll
Jasper
be the
rocking
sober
it out.
comic on that for once. And I'm going to Memphis for the first time in 2 weeks.
Getting some
And then
barbecue.
I have a lot of shows around Nashville. And then I'm taking off a little bit, and then I'll be in Atlanta the first weekend of August.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to be opening for Adam Mamawala at the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga the third week in August.
Good.
And then I'm quitting comedy.
Cool. It's good to know. Starting your celebrity boxing career.
Yeah, what do you got coming up, Drew?
I am local in July, kind of taking a break from sitting in my car for multiple hours.
You got a big one coming up.
Time. So I'm taking July easy, doing a lot of local stuff, getting to go back to North Carolina, see my mom and help her knock out some stuff. And then first week of August, I will be at the Paramount Theater with Dusty Slay.
Yeah. He's a theater boy now.
I'm a theater kid.
Oh God, he's gonna leave me. I'm gonna be texting you to be like, hey man, do you want to do an episode of the podcast? You're like, sorry man, I got things to do.
Get a guest.
And it's just you holding your bologna sandwich. Busy.
Fried bologna sandwich. But yeah, I'll be doing that. And then hit me up for your fall and winter shows. I would love to fill up my fall and winter because it's looking a little barren right now.
If someone contacts you from this, you have to let me know.
I will.
Because I'm pretty sure most of our listeners are younger comics from our scene.
Yeah.
But if one of them
younger comics, I want to do your show in the fall.
Oh, look at you. Okay. I'll do your show at the deli. Yeah.
But most importantly, hit that subscribe button on Project Nerd. Check out all their great content. And we will see you later on this month.
Did Project Nerd make that?